Hello, my name is Ed Craven. I'm a quality reviewer with OCM London. The topic of this video is taking care to avoid maladministration in claiming awards. Now, maladministration is quite a frightening concept. It could imply that somebody in the centre is being dishonest and defrauding. That's a serious matter, and when it does happen occasionally, it has to be taken care of. But in this video, I am concerned with maladministration, which does not involve deliberate intent to defraud. It arises because there is a lack of care in the claiming process, a lack of care. Compare these two cases. You have an assessor who gets hold of the RAC form and puts a tick against a learner, even though he knows that learner has not done the work, in the hope that the external verifier will miss it. Compare that with a hard-pressed admin officer transferring information onto the RAC and mistakenly, without any intent, puts a tick in the wrong box. That's maladministration. But notice that the consequence is just the same, that somebody who deserves an award doesn't get it, and vice versa. Now, we come across maladministration in our work quite often, and the simple way to avoid it is to take care. The question is what to take care about and how to do it. Now, I want to suggest 5 things that you should take care about. First of all, ensure that the learner's name on the RAC is accurate and correct. When we're doing our work, we compare the names on the portfolios with the names on the RAC, and we find there are discrepancies. Sometimes the spelling is different, quite significantly different. Sometimes there's problems about which order the name should come in. Are we dealing with somebody called Gilbert Lewis or Louis Gilbert? Thirdly, surnames often are totally different between the two. And perhaps somebody got married but didn't tell you about it. But it's important for you to ensure that the names on the RAC are as accurate as they possibly can be. Secondly, make sure that the units which are being taught by the tutor are the ones which appear on the RAC and for which you've got approval. Now, sometimes that doesn't happen. The tutor is teaching a different unit, and that could be because they made a mistake. Some units are very, very similar in terms of their title. It's only the level that is different. So they may be teaching a level 1 unit when the RAC says they should be teaching a level 2 unit. They may be teaching a unit which has expired, but somehow that information never got through to them. So try to ensure that the units which appear on the RAC are the ones which are actually being taught by the tutors. Thirdly, take care that claims for awards are accurately entered. Now, we've talked about that already. On a big course, for example, 20 learners, 25 learners, 10 or 12 units over a year, people succeeding on some units but not on others. There's a mass of complicated information to move from your internal records onto the RAC. And sometimes, without care, it's not done accurately. Fourthly, ensure that all claims on the RAC are supported by physical evidence. We can go into a centre and find you've claimed awards for 17 learners and there are only 15 portfolios for it to look at. Or a learner, you've claimed for 4 units for a learner and there's only physical evidence in their portfolio for 2. So the question is, what's happened there? And sometimes the physical evidence just has not been produced in the verification room. And people go rushing off around the centre trying to find it. My best example of this was a 2-hour hunt through a centre to find 2 missing portfolios in a cupboard in the women's lavatory. So these things do happen. So make sure there's physical evidence for the EV to support all the claims on the RAC. And finally, make sure the RAC is properly signed. There's a space on it for the tutor to sign and a space on it for the IV to sign. And when you sign it, you are, amongst other things, attesting to the accuracy of the process of claiming for awards. If you don't sign it, it makes the QR think, perhaps nobody's taking responsibility here. So those are the things to take care about. There are a few tips on how you might do that. First of all, show the RAC names to the learners in class towards the end of a course and let them check it for themselves and make sure that the name that appears on the certificate is the one that they want to appear there. Secondly, you can send the unit that a tutor is teaching to that tutor before the course begins. And the IV, as they're doing their work throughout a course, can keep checking that the units being used by a tutor in their teaching are the ones they've got approval to run. In terms of the accuracy of the mass of data on an RAC, the only way you can do that is to get somebody to check your work. So do a transfer carefully and then ask somebody to check it for you. In terms of the physical presence of all the evidence you need, I think that's down to the internal verifier to do a final check before external verification happens that all the evidence is there and present. Now, I mentioned the IV. I think that overall there needs to be somebody in charge of and responsible for this process of ensuring accuracy. And generally speaking, the best person is the internal verifier. They need to think about accuracy, they need to organise the checks and balances and so on that I've just been talking about, so as to minimise the risk of inaccuracy. So if all those things are done in your centre, then I'm sure the incidence of maladministration will go down. Thank you very much. Good luck.